Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We are doing our 2024 second base rankings. I almost threw a 2023 in there. I was so close. Second base rankings for fantasy baseball. A little too early, but hey, you know what? Who's counting? We're here to give you all the information we can with our expert ranker, the boss man himself, Joe Bond. Thanks so much for joining us, Joe.
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for putting this together. Having fun doing them, and hopefully it's helping everybody.
It's helping me. I'm writing a bunch of notes, so I'm going old school. I have my pen going just in case. Before we get into the rankings, we want to invite you to come on down to Fantasy Six Pack and become an all access member. FantasySixPack.net. Now, when you become an all access member, not only do you get access to all the rankings and all the articles, and access to a bunch of fun tools and important tools. I shouldn't say just fun. But you get access to us on Discord as well. It's all fun. But you get access to us on Discord where you can ask us all types of questions. We'll dig in deep on some of your roster moves, look at your trades, and all kinds of things as well. And we love interacting with our subscribers and our readers as well. Also, I cannot be, I don't want to make this a small deal because it is a big deal. Trying to figure out where to land your league at the beginning of the season is always hard to do. And so I definitely want to tell you all to please think about moving to Fantrax because of the fact that, frankly, I have found it to be incredibly easy, incredibly deep into tools and its ability to kind of customize. And most importantly, and the thing is, especially when you're moving, you want to have access to support. You want to make sure that somebody's there looking out for you. And I have found Fantrax, and this is from a personal level, I have over 10 plus leagues there. They respond quickly.
Yeah,
and I
got to know some of the support guys. Like they're good people. I like them.
Yeah. Yep. So, and they listen to suggestions too. It's not just like, oh yeah, we'll think about doing that in 6 to 8 years. They listen to suggestions. They'll tell you. They'll really have a nice dialogue with you as well. So definitely good things there as well. Joe, oh my goodness, I forgot to Did you put up the discount code? My apologies.
I was gonna say.
My bad. I want to save everybody money.
MLB 24, the promo code you can use right now through the start of the MLB season for 15% off. One of those tools, not just me and DAP, that you can get access to is going to be the Fantasy Baseball cheat sheet. I will be. Right. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm getting it done this week. Got a lot to do, but it is one of my top to-do lists here to get the cheat sheet out and ready for you all to use to dominate your drafts. I know it helped me in a ton of mine, and I know other people that it helped last year as well. So jump on over there, and we look forward to it.
All right, let's get into this. So we are going to be referencing your rankings here. You'll find there on FantasySixPack.net. This is top 10 second base rankings. There's all your rankings there, but I just want to show everybody what we're going to be going over here. Before we get into the rankings, we'd like to talk to you about the ones that fell outside of your top 10. And I'm going to give you two, and I know you have a third one there who broke my heart pretty badly last year. But Thairo Estrada and Bryson Stott. Why did they not make your top 10, Joe? Did they say something bad about your mom?
No, I'm a big fan of Estrada, actually. He really stepped up a couple of seasons ago. Was a 14 home run, 20 stolen base guy, hit 260. Not awesome, but for a guy that you probably off the waiver wire or super late in drafts, that was a nice bonus to find. Last year, he still wasn't getting the cred that he should have in drafts, and I was able to snatch him up very late in a lot of places. He dealt with a bunch of injuries last year, but still put up a 14-23 stolen base season, less at bats. More at bats, but less games. So kind of weird how that worked. Average went up. I kind of think that's what he's going to be like. Maybe we can protect a couple more home runs, a couple more steals if he plays another 15 to 20 games. But that's what he's going to be. He's probably going to be like a 15, 16, 17 home run guy, 20 to 25 stolen bases. That's okay. But I want guys probably with a little more ceiling than he does in my top 10. But I say he's right there, in the top 12. So that's fine. Bryson Stott.
Yep.
You were going to ask about him, right?
Well, yeah, but real quick, Jorge Montanez, if you talk at all with Mike Curlin, this is Jorge who works with Mike as well at Roto Nino. He said something really interesting about Thairo Estrada. Before hitting the IL, I forgot how hot he was early in the season. He had a 315 plate appearances, 9 home runs, and 761 OPS, almost a 20-40 pace. And then when he returned on the August 5th, he kind of fell off. But in September, 4 home runs, 4 stolen bases. It's one of those things that's a heck of a gamble, but these are the type of gambles that pay off. And if you can, throw him as your, even your second baseman, I think that's a great pickup, but it's definitely one of those that I agree with you 100%. You're betting on a lot of different things here to go right.
Right now is ADP. This is very early ADP, right around 145. So it's not going to be nearly as cheap as it was last season. I mean, you were getting him for free in drafts, but move over here to Bryson Stott. I know you mentioned him.
Yep.
Look, great talented player. He's basically Estrada, right? If you want to project out what Estrada was going to do in 150 games last year, 15, 40, 20, 40, right, whatever.
Right.
Stott did 15-30. Really good batting average, better than Estrada. Again, he's another one of those just miss guys. When you get to the back end here, I kind of I didn't just be like, oh, whatever, I don't care, I just threw guys in here. But I looked into a lot of factors. Estrada you're talking fractional of
right.
You're talking minuscule, like when I put the projection, I take the projections, kind of calculate I have a formula that calculates a value. You're talking, just fractions of a point to separate some of these guys. So it is super close.
And then finally,
a guy that I think gets a lot of because of the team he plays on.
Yes.
Past performance, and even last year, super good in 3 categories.
It's about to say. Yes.
Stolen bases, that's not his thing.
No.
Batting average used to be okay. We don't quite know what happened, but Max Muncy, look, his ADP, I think, is off the charts too high, just because he's going to be a negative in batting average.
Yep.
And honestly, with the new stolen base rules, he's going to be a negative in steals. He's not going to give you 1. Okay.
Absolutely. Good point.
But man, you need power. You need RBI. You need runs. Max Muncy, that's your guy. He's gonna play despite the average, and that lineup is going to be nasty, dude. So you need those counting stats.
But that batting average has to be around 250, because if it's less than 200 like it was last year, you're going to have to make it up big time elsewhere. We're talking 320 plus batting average everywhere else just to make it competitive. That's a huge hit considering some of those cold streaks. Well, wow.
Absolutely not touching. At best, he's a middle infielder. He can be corner infield in a lot of leagues as well. Utility type guy. But yeah, you're talking about elite power from the second base position. He's it.
Yep. All right, so let's jump into the actual top 10. Joe, you want to show the great transitions? Oh, look at that.
All right.
Number 10, Andres Gimenez at Cleveland Guardians. My God, how many times am I going to do that? I don't even.
I actually wrote Indians in the article because I'm an idiot. And nobody has called me out on it, so I called myself out. So I need to go fix that.
Get it done, Joe. So Matt at below averages OPS. He posts. Trying to find tweets that were talking about the MLB Network top 10 right now fan list that weren't expletive lace and were somewhat coherent in thought, not just "this is ridiculous." Was hard to do. But Matt actually says some really great things. So just really cap off the top, bottom 5: Bryson Stott, Marte, Kim, Torres, McLain. You're going to see some of those guys in our thing. But here, Matt says Andres Gimenez just won a platinum glove, and only Altuve and Semien have more F WAR over the past 2 seasons than him. That's WAR calculated by Fangraphs. It's also a crime, and Nico Hoerner is in there, but we're not even worried about that at the moment. But wow, he's off the list entirely. And I have to totally agree with you on this ranking here in the sense of what's going on with Andres Gimenez. And just in case people forgot how good he was, especially, considering that there was definitely kind of a slow start there to his campaign. 153. Okay. I'm trying to be
droppable.
You're right.
For a couple months, man. It was bad with him.
I'm trying to be positive sometimes, and you're right. It was terrible. We even called it out on a couple articles early on in the season, even a couple months in. Yeah, I remember the waiver wire shows we were doing, but he still almost got 500. Over 550 plate appearances. At bats, 600 plate appearances, and those counting stats aren't terrible. 251, 15 home runs, 62 RBIs, and only 112 strikeouts. Again, I say only 112 because, again, his the numbers he was going towards were pretty ugly. But where are you feeling like? You feel like New York Mets when he came over, we thought this guy's got it. He saw 68 games the year before. Before that, and 146. There's a lot to extrapolate some goodness, and then he was so cold and kind of picked it up. What are you thinking this year, Joe?
He was I really struggled putting him at number 10, but I just believe in the talent with him and what we saw more in 2022 than what we saw in 2023. He wasn't barreling the ball at the same rate last year. That had him bottom of the league in both exit velocity and hard hit rate. I just don't think that's him. You saw him, despite, like you said, despite a really bad start to the season, he still finished off with decent. You look back at the season, you're like, wait, he did what? There's no way that can't be his final stat line there. I had to kind of do a double take. I was like, wait, he stole 30 bases. He hit 15 home runs. It felt like an 8-17 type of season.
Yes,
because it was so bad, man. He crushed you early on in the year. He really bounced back. I believe he's going to be able to do it again. I just, he's just 25. I think he'll make the adjustments and get back. And, at worst, he does another 15-30 season, but I think there's more to it.
Yeah, I think everybody was expecting Lindor, right? They're like, oh, he's the next to Lindor. A lot of people were, let's just be honest. I think we did, but it had the makings, right? A hyped up prospect from the Mets, and he was going to do it. And like you said, the average was not there. The expected batting average definitely was there. The slugging, we're talking about the opposite of Max Muncy in the sense of no power, but also Max Muncy-esque Muncy. Yes, that's the new cologne for him. But Max-esque on his average. 250 is obviously better than sub 200.
It was 289.
Yeah,
it wasn't clicking. Now his BABIP was a little inflated the year before at 353.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
But 289 is bad. So, again, that comes back to he wasn't barreling the ball. He wasn't hitting it as hard. So, of course, your BABIP's not going to, be as good. Therefore, the average drops. But I think he's young enough. Cleveland's usually a pretty good organization. I think they'll get him back on track.
And that's exactly it. You also get bet on the organization, and they definitely have shown the ability to turn players around, and I'm expecting some good things from Andres. Yep. All right, number 9, Matt McLain. Yes, sir. So I saw something hilarious. I saw ADPs in the 40s and 50s for Matt McLain right now.
Yeah, and, yep. His ADP right now, this was a few weeks ago when I grabbed this data, 45.
Yeah, I am 100%. I love Matt McLain. Don't get me wrong. I am so out at that price. It's not like I'm not even thinking twice about it. It's not even like, oh, maybe. No, I don't care how you set up your roster. Getting Matt McLain those 40s and 50s is nuts.
I get it, but dude, you are literally paying for the ceiling at that. I wrote basically the same thing in the article. Look, I get the talent. I get the, look, he's going in the same range as some of these guys we're going to talk at the very top of the list.
Yep.
No, thank you. I get last season was amazing.
Yep.
89 games, 16 home runs, 14 steals, a 290 average, 65 runs, 50 RBI. That's double that. That's amazing. He's
right.
First round pick talk. No. Can't project stats out like that. It just doesn't happen over the course of a long, grueling season. Couple of things that make me hesitate with him, and I wrote it in the article, but I'm just gonna, they're bullet points. BABIP was crazy, 385, almost 100 points higher than his batting average. You don't see that very often.
Right.
He had a 28.5 K rate. Another sign that his batting average is going to drop, and projections agree. He hit more ground balls than fly balls. So that home run pace of his, not exactly sustainable. But I still think there's plenty of power there to be okay. His slugging, by the way, expected slugging was 435. Another sign that power is not really, projectable to just be like, oh, he hit 16 in 89 games. He's going to hit like 30 in 160. Right. No, it's just that's coming down. I mean, that Reds team just caught fire when both him and De La Cruz came up, man, and they were just like all the hype and excitement around it. It's almost like they just like fed off each other. No, just calm it down, relax. Don't overpay for him. Right. He's a great player. Sure. Do not overpay for him. And right now he's being drafted way too early.
Just real quick on the other side of that, I think Eric Samolsky, Samsky and NYC defensive Matt McLain's 30.3 K percentage. He had a 10.5% swinging strike rate, same as Polanco, Witt, and Arcia, but a 22.1% called strike, seventh worst among hitters. So Eric thinks that he's being too overly passive. So it's really interesting because when you have somebody who doesn't have that many plate appearances, you obviously there's a lot of things that can change, right? Negative, you can improve in various areas, but I agree with you. There's too many things that have to go right. But if you want to talk about the video game team, right? The team that is all hype, that is exciting as heck to watch. I mean, if you weren't watching De La Cruz every at bat in those first couple of weeks, I don't know what you're doing as a baseball fan. Reds are going to be fun to watch. But I am absolutely out at that ADP. That's just nuts.
Yep, totally agree.
All right, number 8.
There we go.
Okay, I am Ha-Seong Kim, right? Please tell me I didn't mess that up. Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Okay, so basically, he's the reason why Soto was traded. A lot of people are saying he's Soto. No, I'm totally kidding. But yeah, the thing is that of all the people that I saw on this list, I think the guy who got probably not enough hype for what he did was Kim. I mean, it's almost criminal what he was able to pull off last year, and kind of came over. And one of the things that I liked that I saw here was he won a Gold Glove in 2023. I didn't realize that. I mean,
I didn't either. I
mean, of all the things that I remember about Kim, I don't remember the Gold Glove, kind of defense. Yes, I saw the highlights and all those things, but that's not going to win you a fantasy league. But definitely something from the Jeff Sanders from the San Diego Tribune highlighting here, along with his offensive breakout, which is something we are highlighting because of one important thing here, and that's because you don't want somebody who can't play the field, because then you have to fight him on DH and those types of things. But the fact that he's able to do that Gold Glove is great. Now, another thing I wanted to point out too, which I didn't realize, is 152, 150 games, and then of course 117. But we're always worried about people that come over from Korea or Japan or some other league, and they're like, well, how's he gonna deal with all the increased at bats and the different working wear and tear on his body? And he's responded incredibly. He's able to pull that off. What do you like about
the first season, they didn't give him quite the full workload. I kind of thought they were. I really liked him coming over, but he just didn't get the playing time. He struggled initially, and you can see that with that 202 average. Really turned things around last year, or in 2022. Not quite a great season though. Still, But last year kind of put it all together, right? We saw,
Yep.
he's batting near the top of the lineup, if not the top of the lineup, pretty much every day. You see that with the steals and the runs scored. Got the power stroke going a little bit. Batting averages kind of whatever, right? It's 260. It's not,
Right.
it's not something you've got to go make up for later, but it's not going to kill you. It's not going to help you either. But the fact that he bats at the top of the lineup, the RBI are gonna, just naturally drop because of that. But he's still gonna have Bogart, still gonna have Tatis, still gonna have Machado batting behind him. The run scored in the steals should be there. They're gonna let this guy run, and he gets on base a lot. I mean,
Yeah, 350 plus. Wow.
yeah, I mean a 12% walk rate. I mean,
Yeah.
he struck out 19% of the time. That's pretty good. So, you're going to take him for steals, moderate power, and runs, and a batting average is okay. And if that's what you need at that point, then he's fine. Again, he slots right in here.
Just being a model of consistency here, I just wanted to call it something. I don't know if you saw this. Well, you probably did because you're awesome like that. I'm not. But exit velocity last 3 years, 86.7, 86.7, 86.2. Barrel percentage, 4.5%, 4.2, and 4.2. I mean, can we get any less deviation on those numbers? That's pretty amazing to me the last 3 years. I mean, you'd think a little bit of a change, but you're right. I think we got what we have here. I think if we'll see a lot of kind of the same here in 2023. I think if anything, we'll probably have more runs scored. The RBIs are going to probably be, definitely less than 65. I think 60 is going to maybe be your best ceiling. But yeah, I don't see why he couldn't hit 45 stolen bases and things of that nature, considering how much he gets on base. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited about this. And again, when you talk about the price, I still don't think the price is correct on Kim. I think it's still too low. And I think I'd definitely be drafting him at his current ADP.
Yeah, his ADP right now is around 75, so it is actually a little bit higher than where I would have him ranked. Yeah. So I actually slotted him down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw him at 90, 95.
There's a lot of other guys in that range that I think can give you more at more positions. So
like the next guy.
Push him down a little bit. Oh, sorry. That my cue. Sorry.
That was it's okay. Nico Hoerner, for all of our Cubs fans, because we have a ton of them who get mad at us every time we don't put a Cub high enough.
So yelled at in a couple of videos. What do you mean no Cubs?
Well, and to go back to the much celebrated MLB fan list, again, trying to find one where it wasn't profanity laced. Sarah Sanchez is always one of my favorite. Nico Hoerner disrespect is real because Nico Hoerner slotted in nowhere on the top 10 list that they have here on MLB.
My top 10 list.
Yeah. So definitely we're okay with how you rank it. Sarah's going to give you a high five for how you ranked him. I mean, honestly, I don't know how he didn't get in, at least in the top 10. The disrespect there is high, considering, again, almost 700 plate appearances and almost 100 runs scored and around 70 RBIs. I mean, in 43 stolen bases. I mean, he was giving you everything and not striking out. Now, no power at all. Absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, 12 K rate with a 7% walk rate, that's will play.
Yes.
Especially with the Cubs, kind of wondering what they're going to be this year. They're going to lose some power, but at the age 27 season, which is the big one where you can really get that big contract, if he gives you anywhere close to these numbers, I don't see how he's not in everybody's top 10 list.
Yeah. I keep it real simple with him. He's going to be runs, average, steals. Power, it's not really there. I do think there's a little more power in that bat. He had a weirdly low, like 4.9 home run to fly ball ratio. That's like,
wow,
disgusting low. Like, that's weird. But yeah, I mean, maybe not 43 steals, but 35, sure. Like, you'll take it. Maybe not score as many runs because the offense isn't going to be the same behind him. But I mean, hey, come on, they surprised us last year. Maybe they'll do it again. Sure. So yeah, I mean, it's again, these two guys kind of. The overall value is good across, like, maybe not good for every position, but every category, but it kind of slots into, you need runs, you need average, you need steals. These guys are going to be good for that. So
Yeah, two things here just real quick. Launch angle is actually 0.2. So it's right around where he was the year before, 10.7, 10.5. I just wasn't expecting how much hard hit, the number of hard hit events he had. He had 179. I just wasn't expecting it to be 33%. Again, just thinking in totality here, I was thinking it's going to be much lower. But if he can fix that launch angle, I mean, max exit velocity of 109. I mean, he's right there. He has got a lot of things there that could break out for him in the positive. And I think that, you definitely have somebody there that could enjoy
it's a lot of ground balls.
That's the problem. Yeah. If he changes that just a little bit, I mean, we could be seeing some excitement there, but he doesn't have to do much in the sense of, that power numbers because of the fact that he's doing so many great things elsewhere as well. Yep. So I love that. I love that ranking for him. All right. Going to the dark side. Go ahead. Tell me.
Torres.
Oh yeah. I mean, Yankees love to hate him. I mean, Yankee fans just love to hate this man. I mean, let's just be honest. Just not much else going on there. If you would take what the Yankees fans were saying about Gleyber Torres this past year, you would almost think that was he the reason why, American health
wanted anybody else to play that position?
I mean,
they were begging for LeMahieu to take it over, or whoever. Like, it was just, he has proved himself and then some. I mean, 2 years in a row now. Like, yes, he's not the 2019 guy that we got. Right. Okay. That was a crazy good year. Like, that is clearly the outlier year.
Right.
He is now a 25 home run guy. Gonna get you a dozen steals. He's gonna bat, decent batting average. And that Yankees lineup was atrocious last year outside of Aaron Judge.
Right.
He still scored 90 runs. Okay.
Did you? I mean,
now it's going to get better, right?
Did you expect him to have? Again, because of the fact that I look at Twitter and have to do this and all. I was thinking that K rate was somewhere around 20. The fact that it was at 14.6%, blew my mind.
Yeah, that's probably going to go down, or back up, like whatever you want to call it.
Sure, gonna get worse. Yeah, they go right.
So you can probably expect the batting average to drop a little bit. But yeah, that did surprise me. I do remember seeing that when I looked at it, to be like, oh, but yeah, it's probably going to go back near the 20. That's where he's been most seasons. So if not just over 20. So I would expect closer to that. The walk rate's probably going to, 8-9 range. Last year was 10.
Right.
But I mean, he's a solid hitter. And again, they're getting Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, if he can stay healthy, if Stanton can stay healthy and produce, that's going to be a nasty lineup.
Yeah, if you hear it here first, I am saying 100 runs scored this year. He might take some other places down, but definitely I think he's breaking that 100-run barrier with that lineup.
I think ADP, his ADP is at 122. So you tell me, would you rather have Torres, Kim, McLain?
Well, definitely not McLain. I mean, like 40 ADP.
Guys, but like, you're talking, you can get Torres,
right?
What, 6 rounds later than Matt McLain?
Yep, all day.
Yeah, I'm not buying McLain, and I'm getting more across the board from Torres than I am Matt McLain, in my opinion. So he's going to be a more consistent guy, I just think, at this point.
And I think the thing is too, right? McLain, we are getting the hype for his teammates as well, and everybody's got to hit well. I mean, don't get me wrong. Marte is going to be there, and there's going to be some others as well. But there's just too much going on there for me to pick McLain over Torres. I'd rather have Torres, as much as that pains me to say that about the Yankees. But yes, I'd rather have Torres there.
We see it every year, where like the sophomores, or like the rookies, they still have rookie eligibility, kind of get hyped up a little bit too much if they had a moderately successful first taste of the MLB,
right,
and they just get overdrafted. It's the, oh my god, I gotta get him. And it's somebody's going to want him more in your league than you want him, so that just
Right.
drives up the cost is even more. I guarantee that price is going to go up, which is
Yep.
crazy because it's already way too high. But all right.
Yeah, 100%. All right, we're in the top 5. I can't wait. No more Yankees, please. That's you, Joe. What do you got at number 5?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I was looking up something.
It's okay. It's okay,
Ketel
man.
Marte.
Ketel Marte. Now, I think the biggest thing here with Ketel Marte, without a doubt, my biggest issue with Ketel Marte before this past year was look at 2021 and 2020. Right, 45 games played, 90 games played. Yes, 2022 is 137. In 2023, I had no idea what was going to happen. Were we going to get the 45 games, and the fact they did 150 games? And again, the Diamondbacks were fun. I mean, again, when we get to the playoffs, people finally picked up on what we were seeing already with the Corbin Carrolls of the world and everything else. They're fun, and you have a guy who's hitting his 30-year, season. What if we get? If they're saying 600 plate appearances plus with 140-ish games, I would buy that all day long if that actually is going to happen with Marte. 25 home runs, 94 runs scored. 94 runs scored, 82 RBIs. For the steals have never been there, but wow, if I could get that, absolutely, I am all in. I 100% agree with you. It's just that the downside there is so scary. And I think that's one reason that his price is lower than it should be.
His ADP was 105 when I pulled this list, which 107 actually. So It's actually behind Gimenez, which was like, oh, okay. No. I mean, look, I made the joke in my article. It's an even year, so he's going to suck, right? I mean, that's kind of what happens for some reason. Like 2020, I get that was the COVID year, but oh my God, he forgot how to hit a baseball that year. It was
absolutely.
2022, was like, he only played 90 games in 2021, did okay in those 90 games. So we're like, oh, okay, he's fine, right? Just as long as he can stay healthy. 2022 was bad. 2018 was bad. 2019 was awesome. 2021 was decent, like I said, and 2023 was good. So it's an even year. So I don't know. I mean, I joke about that. That's not a real thing, but
what? It's not. That is absolutely.
I have seen players in other sports do that, so it is kind of weird. I blanket on the guy in football that was like odd, even all the time, and it was like, it was Matt Ryan for quarterbacks. Like if you went back through his career, like he was really good on like odd years or really bad on even years, or switch it around. But yeah, it's interesting. The offense is coming around. Corbin Carroll. We talked about Moreno in the catcher one. So yeah, he's got some more firepower around him, and I think that's gonna help. That's gonna help him stay consistent.
And again, going to some, his exit velocity is like 91.1, 90.1, 91.1. I mean, it could be more consistent. Launch angle. You know what you're gonna get.
He's got a max velocity of 117.
That's nuts.
Got to be one of the hardest hit baseballs last year.
Yeah, but you know what you're gonna get, sort of, if he play. It used to be like, we know we're gonna get sort of if he plays a lot. Then, like you said, 2022 is that outlier. If he just plays, I expect great things from him in 2024. Just stay healthy, please. I have you too many places, Marte. For the love of goodness, please be okay. God. Oh man. All right, number 4.
Marcus Semien.
I mean, how do you put the guy who is getting MVP votes at number 4? Well, it's because
because the top of the second base list is loaded.
It's just nuts.
Basically, this is the tier where you're gonna draft a second baseman and you ain't worried about a damn thing.
Right. Yeah.
This and the rest.
Yeah. I mean, Marcus Semien at some points carried that Rangers team. But I just want to highlight just how amazing Semien has been in this past couple of years, right? So Ryan Bloomfield, Ryan BHQ, looking at players that racked up 675 plus plate appearances in a season, excluding 2020, right? So Marcus Semien at 753 and it's just a couple. I mean, just to name a couple of the top ones that above 700, right? Acuna, Freeman, Bregman, Lowe, Olsen, Schwarber, and Kwan, Riley. I mean, wow. And here's why he's been a true hoss: 5 straight 700 plate appearance seasons. Only one other batter, Markakis, had 5 700 plate appearances seasons since 2010. I mean, nobody else above 3 other than Freddie Freeman, who has 4. I mean, that just tells you.
I did not expect to hear Markakis.
Yeah, I when I was reading this tweet, I completely glossed over the Markakis part. So when I got there, I was like, well, I haven't seen Markakis in a while on these big lists. That just tells you that, going back from the Ketel Marte, thing there a minute ago, we're not expecting any injury issues. Of course, anytime somebody can break down, but wow, that's just that. Wow. I mean, let's just be honest here. But 29 home runs, 122 runs scored, 100 RBIs. He did it all last year. Tell me why.
I mean, really, the only reason why he's going to slot below these other guys is batting average at this point. I wrote an article and I referenced it in the second base article, where he is such an anomaly, in my opinion, when it comes to the power. Now, granted, when I wrote the article, I was looking at the 2021 stats, so it's a couple years old, but it still works for him. Like his exit velocity is really good, right? It's not like top of the league, but his launch angle his exit velocity is actually like mediocre, but his launch angle is like almost 20 degrees. Right. And so I was trying to, the article was, I went back through and I looked at, basically hard hit rate, exit velocity, all that stuff, and try to see if you could predict home run hitters. You really can't. It's kind of all over the place, right? It's like a mix of everything. But he was one of the ones that was like, he has a kind of an average exit velocity, not top end. It's not bad.
88.4. I mean, 80.4 is upper average. I mean, would be.
Yeah, it's like right in the middle, man. It really is. But his launch angle is like top end. And it's usually when you get guys that hit it that, at that steep of an angle, it's a lot of pop-ups. Right. But he somehow gets it to carry, which makes no sense to me. Because he's not hitting it hard. So you would think if you're getting it to go carry, you got to hit it hard. I don't get it. So, it works for him.
Right. Then you start getting the spin rates and, the fact that, but he's been doing it forever. And the fact that he got to leave the not friendly confines of Oakland, to go to Toronto, where he started then, really kind of jumping on the scene and destroying it in Texas, who has just shown that ball, if you hit it right, can just carry for days. Semien is going to give you what he gets. And I loved in your article, you said, Semien and the next 2 players were just super close. And you're right. I think from the fantasy perspective, you can just kind of interchange the next 2 names as well. But I love Semien. It's going to just depend on where you price it and also where you're getting him in your league.
Yeah, he's 24th in the league in launch angle, by the way. And his average exit velocity last year, 169th. Out of 258 on Statcast. So
and that's what I love about these advanced stats. I mean, sometimes they're really telling, and sometimes here you can just be like, wow, that's why I love baseball, because wow, it just doesn't make
no idea
sense.
how it works. Now he's not hitting 45 home runs like he did with that in 2021.
Right.
But he'll be all right.
But he doesn't need to, right? In that lineup, he just needs to do what he does and just lead the team. Anyways, he's a heck of a player. I loved him. I've loved him in Oakland and now, of course, in fantasy as well. All right, number 3, Mr. Joe Bond.
Yes, sir. Mr. Jose Altuve.
Shocker that we didn't see him somewhere in the top 3, right? Again, MVP candidate. John Anderson and John PGH on Twitter. Players projected for 25 plus home runs and 15 plus stolen bases and 160 plus where you combine runs plus RBIs. Mm-hmm. You see Acuna, you see Witt, you see Carroll, you see J-Rod. And then right there at the bottom, I'm going to have a hard time believing that Jazz stays healthy enough to pull that off. I hope he does.
Also, isn't going to be second base eligible anymore.
Yes, that's the other thing too.
If people are wondering why he's not on the list, go check your league.
Right.
He's not second base eligible. Have fun with that.
Jose Altuve right there at the bottom. I think it's almost one of those situations where people are just almost lulled to sleep because he's been doing this for so long.
And he's older, so maybe
he's
old about that. He did have a couple seasons where you're like, like it didn't feel like it was working.
Right.
Like, like even 2022, right?
Right.
57 RBI. Like,
yeah,
what happened? That was weird. But last year in just 90 games, he hit 51, 76 runs. I mean, like he's not gonna have that pace that he had from last year. Sure. That was a crazy pace that he was on. He was locked in. But yeah, I mean, you can count on him for just about the same stats as Semien as far as power, maybe a little bit less there, maybe a few more steals, but it's the batting average that you're buying in on with him. That's just, it's been 300 or higher the last 2 seasons, maybe not projected that high, but if he hits it, would anybody be shocked? No. So there you go. And that offense, if all goes right, I mean, you could argue he could hit 200 runs plus RBI.
Sure. And, again, going back to exit velocity, right? Where it's almost in line with what Semien was showing us with, 85, 86, exit velocity. But again, the launch angle here is 11, right? But in that park, he doesn't have to do much to do some great things there as well. But that tells you just what we're doing with Semien's doing right, and it's just why he's an anomaly. But Altuve's still has the speed. He's still able to just do a lot of things, and he's not going anywhere in that lineup. Again, this is the next 2 names aren't either, but he's not going anywhere in that lineup. You're paying for the fact, like you said, you get Altuve, you set him in your lineup, and you forget it. Just other than, of course, if there's an injury issue, but other than that, you kind of know what you're going to get here. You've known for quite some time, and I love to hate me some Altuve. Oh yes. All right,
the last 2 or just
go.
Do the one to get this group of 3, and then the last one kind of by himself?
just. I mean, yes. Number 1 is off by himself.
Let's do this. Let's just do Ozzie Albies.
Ozzie Albies
number 2, because in my article I even clumped 2, 3, and 4 together.
Yeah, and Ozzie Albies is with those Braves. I mean, the thing is, okay. I always talk about this just because I like to show that we're human. I didn't realize Ozzie Albies was this old. And 27 is not old, don't get me wrong, but God, he seems younger than that. I thought he was 24, 25 still. And
a lot longer than you think.
Yeah, and 33 home runs last year. My goodness.
30 in 2021. He was hurt in 2022, so I'll give him a pass on that one.
But yeah, Ozzie Albies is the one that I don't think people get enough credit for his power stroke. I just don't think.
Kind of forgot, even myself. I went back, I pulled up stats because I was like, why is he number 2? That doesn't why would he be above Semien and Altuve? And I looked, I was like, oh, because he actually hit for more home runs than both of them. Okay, never mind.
And he hits 280 average, 280. Which I mean that's the
in Acuna, so his RBI are naturally just going to be like 180.
Exactly, just put it
whatever. And he'll still a handful of bases. The thing that actually hurts him on the base paths is that he's got Acuna in front of him.
Right.
So he can't steal second, right? Unless Acuna gets doesn't get on base or he's already at third. Like it's harder for him to steal second, but that's also not Albies' game. Like Albies is kind of a very overall player to where Altuve is very, I would say, more runs, a little less on RBI, right? Moderate, the decent power numbers, decent steals, really good average, right?
Right.
Semien, we just talked about, really good power, really good runs in RBI, basically no steals. We're hoping average stays, but he's been up and down in his whole career. Albies is just kind of good across the board. Steals may not be like upper echelon, right? But he's not going to hurt you, right? He's still going to chip in some. Albies is the whole package.
100%. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you there. I mean, you're absolutely right. And that's the thing, right? You love this with Albies. And again, they're super close. I've seen drafts where Altuve goes in front of Albies, which I think is a little criminal considering what he can give you. I'm a huge Albies fan. And I just still don't think Albies gets enough credit for what he does on all these different categories. And he's showing you that he can sustain it. Age 27 season, like we keep talking about, this is where you get paid. This is really where you become the hitter you're supposed to become. And those stats are just paying off. But
yeah, I wonder if it's like the pre-COVID, like people are still thinking like, yeah, he's going to hit 25 home runs, but it's only like 80 RBI.
Right.
But I mean, that's still good. But this is a whole different Braves offense, right?
Yep.
Acuna is a stud. Brought in Matt Olson.
Right.
They've got Riley really coming around. Like, this is a completely different offense than it was back in 2019, 2018, when he wasn't putting up the county stats that you were hoping for. So I'm all in on Albies.
Yeah, it's not like you could pitch around him, not like you would, but just saying, I mean, there's just so much power in that Atlanta Braves, offense, and I 100% want to get a share of it. And if I get Albies, hey, all day long. But the real person I want, let's get back to your awesome rankings there. The number one, Mookie Betts. If you don't know this about me, I am a massive Mookie Betts fan. I'm not a Red Sox fan. I'm not a Dodgers fan. I'm a massive Mookie Betts fan. I love the way he plays.
To watch.
Yeah, he just looks like he is enjoying every second of every game. And I love the guy. So I'm just letting you know that's where my
you're paying for him though. He's a top 5 pick.
Absolutely. My issues, and they just announced too that he is going to definitely be playing second base. So some of those rumors of him possibly moving back to the outfield or something of that nature. No, he's going to be second base next year, 100%. But 122 games, 142 games, 152 games. Streamers got him at about 150 as well. Again, I mean, the Dodgers with Ohtani give me all of that. Come on, Freddie Freeman. 39, so 40-ish home runs, 35 home runs, whatever. 126 runs scored, 107 RBIs. And then they are starting to put it less. I think the only reason his RBIs might drop is because he'll be scoring so many. I mean, maybe it's because the bases will be empty every time. I don't know, but I don't see how there's such a big drop. I definitely pencil in 90 RBI plus, no problem. 110 runs, absolutely no problem, and 30 plus home runs, no issues there at all, with amazing average, amazing OBP.
Yeah, I mean, they've got him leading off, and so the back end of that lineup, Teoscar Hernandez at 7 is fine. Hayward at 8 right now. Gavin Lux at 9. So batting leadoff, you just expect the RBIs to drop. I want to say he wasn't primarily leadoff all last year, right? Yeah. He batted. Actually, no, he was. He batted first 151 of the game. So,
oh, really? Okay,
I thought he dropped for some reason a couple. Not because he was bad. Right. I just thought they moved him around.
Played around. Yeah, I thought they put him in second there a couple times, but that's again faulty memory. That tells you what happens when you're off season for a couple months. You suddenly start making up lies in your head.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't hit over 100 RBI since 2017. So
next year he will. This year he will.
Down for maybe 90. I don't think is totally off the wall, but yeah, I mean, he's a complete package. Go get him, and the fact that he's second base eligibility now, to just it just puts him in a different tier than the rest of these guys.
And he's so smart when it comes to the way he's hitting too. Again, almost 14% roughly walk rate with a 15.4% K rate. Mm-hmm. I mean, give that to me. And then again, going to launch angle right around 20, but that exit velocity stayed consistent above 90, right? 90.7 ish. All these years.
You just have to hope his start and his finish to last year were not what we get more than anything, because September, October was bad.
Yes.
March and April was not a whole lot better. So hopefully he plays more like he did in the warmer months.
Well, I think the biggest thing there too is just again, that lineup is going to be ridiculously loaded. Yeah. I mean, and you have pitchers that are just gonna. I mean, in a video game setting, you have to almost it's one of those things where you have to force trades with the AI of your computer to get the team that the LA Dodgers have put together and the Atlanta Braves have put together. And
cheap at deferring all the
contracts. Yeah. Let's defer it all the way to 2,100. It's nuts to me, but at the same time,
GM will be retired. Have fun, guys.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about this. But at the same time, though, I absolutely agree with you 100% on this Mookie Betts. I think this is an amazing player. I love him and love the lineup he's in. I mean, Ozzie Albies, Betts, you really can't go wrong for me on either one of those. But Betts is so far. It's ridiculous. You wouldn't think it's that far, but it's that far ahead. And it's a heck of a price.
The other videos, a lot of times so far, we've put 1 and 2 together because they're close.
Yeah.
This one's close. Sorry.
Yeah.
We've only got a couple more like that, but
yeah. All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for watching. Again, please come out to fantasy6pack.net and become a subscriber. For Joe Bond and myself, Dap Scout, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you again here soon when we do the top 10 shortstops. Thanks so much for watching.